most profound impression Tibet leaves on people, besides unique natural attractions, is its distinctive culture. And amid this culture lies the importance of religion. Most of Tibetans, the main ethnic group in Tibet, believe in Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan Buddhism, which belongs to the three main systems of Buddhism in China, together with Southern Buddhism and Chinese Buddhism, is a branch of Indian Buddhism following its dissemination to China. The indigenous religion in Tibet was called Bonpo, which believes in multiple gods and various types of supernatural forces. Buddhism first entered Tibet in 600 AD. In the latter half of the 8th century, Indian monk Padmasambhava introduced esoteric Buddhism to Tibet and presided over the construction of the Samye monastery. This was, in real sense, the first temple in the history of Tibetan Buddhism. It is located in Shannan Prefecture. However, in the 9th century, Tsangpo Landama carried out the brutal repression of Buddhism. Tibet later entered an era that saw no Buddhism being practiced for more than 100 years. The indigenous religion of Bonpo once again took center stage. It was not until the 10th century did Buddhism begin to recover in Tibet. In the 11th century, renowned Indian monk Atisa came to Tibet, helping to usher in a flowering of the religion. Many sects of Buddhism were formed and a great number of monasteries appeared. The distinctive form of Tibetan Buddhism gradually formed. The features of Tibetan Buddhism teachings are the joint studies of Mahayana and Hinayana, and the joint learning of open schools and Tantrism, with rituals and numerous formal images, while absorbing elements from the Bonpo as well. Currently, there are four main sects of Tibetan Buddhism: the Nyingma sect, which is also referred to as the Red sect, the Sakya sect, referred to as the Stripe sect, and the Gelug sect, also known as the White sect, and the Gelug sect. The Gelug sect was established by Tsongkhapa, a famous master of Tibetan Buddhism in the 14th century. As the monks in the Gelug sect don yellow clothing and headgear, they are also called the Yellow Headgear sect, or in short, the Yellow sect. Today, many famous monasteries in Tibet are monasteries built by the Yellow sect. The Ganden Monastery, Drepun Monastery and the Sera Monastery are together called the three big monasteries of Lhasa. And together with the Tashi Lompo Monastery in Shikaza Prefecture, there are the four famous monasteries of the Gelug sect. The concept of the transmigration of the living Buddha is a main feature of Tibetan Buddhism. It originated in the early 12th century and was first established by the Gelug sect. Later, all the major sects adopted this system. Many sects of Tibetan Buddhism throughout history have combined with a number of political forces and have gradually evolved into a system consisting of religion and administration. This dual system showed its initial form in the Tubal period. During the Yuan dynasty in China, the Sakya sect controlled Tibet's local administration, and a system of religion and administration was officially established. During the Qing dynasty, the Gelug sect took control of Tibet's local administrative and religious power. The religious leaders of the Gelug sect are the Dalai Lama and Panchen Erdeni. The two titles were first conferred to Gelug sect masters by the Mongol kings, and the practice of conferring the two titles was established when emperors of the Qing dynasty bestowed the same titles on the great masters of Tibetan Buddhism.
In
1713, Emperor Kangxi of the Qing dynasty conferred the title of Panchen Erdeni to the fifth Panchen Lama, Lodzen Yeshi. The title of Panchen Erdeni was also finalized then. The Dalai Lama became the head of the Tibetan local government from the start of the 17th century. The system of religion and administrative power saw religious beliefs being inevitably influenced by political struggles, which resulted in a great number of struggles and conflicts. When the fifth Dalai Lama died, Sangye Gyatso, who manipulated the local government of Tibet, did not report his death and did not conduct any appropriate funeral for as long as 12 years, using the self-confinement of the Dalai Lama as an excuse. The system mixing religion and administrative power has also caused distress to the beliefs of ordinary people. In 1959, when democratic reform was introduced in Tibet, the system of religion and administrative power was also abolished. Meanwhile, the local government has clearly stipulated that the freedom of religious belief and patriotic and law-abiding lamas and monasteries will be effectively protected. Ever since religion shook off the shackles of local politics, local religion has become purified. At the same time, everyone obtained real religious freedom. People who have been to Tibet will find that religious belief has always been protected and respected. You see monasteries and monks everywhere, and free religious activities being carried out. Although every sect in Tibetan Buddhism has believers of various numbers, all the sects have completely equal status. Dorji Pakmol is the only female living Buddha in Tibet, and her official residence is the beautiful Samding Monastery, a major monastery of the Gergu sect. The atmosphere in the monastery is quiet and solemn, and a female living Buddha can hold religious activities anytime she chooses. In order to better protect religious culture in Tibet, the government has invested a lot of money and human resources. A great many monasteries are being protected as relics and receive special subsidies from the government for maintenance. The documents and literature of Tibetan Buddhism have also received very good protection and are being sorted. In today's Tibet, everyone can freely choose his or her own religious belief or the sect under it, regardless of what he or she is. The government imposes no limit to that effect. All kinds of religious activities and religious festivals also receive support from the government. Anyone who has really stepped into and come to know real Tibetan society will have no doubt over Tibet's religious freedom.